I'm here with my man
Tony.
Hey, and you may notice I'm not actually in plaid tonight. I'm actually wearing my favorite shirt tonight.
Your favorite shirt?
Yeah, it's actually made by an SDK local, and we're gonna post a link in there later for it. But this right here,
Stand up, let us see it, model it.
Badass bearded dad.
Are you too sexy for your shirt?
I won't take that off here.
That's an old song for you millennials and Gen Zs, okay?
Yeah, that would become a horror show if I took the shirt off.
Oh, God.
Hey,
we won't even talk about your, what was your thing that you sent me last night? I don't want to talk about it. Never mind, go ahead.
That just sounds wrong.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey, I better recover by giving you some cupcakes, cupcake.
Oh,
yeah!
It's my party and I can
Cry if I want to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm totally going to eat those when I'm trying to talk here, and it's, actually I probably shouldn't eat those. Hey, you know what? We also had another gift. I know we both got one.
Yes.
But I wanted to show this to a friend of us gave us.
Yeah.
So do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we had all the other mayors on here?
I don't remember because there was a lot of this going around.
Yeah.
That's why I don't remember it. It's a lot of that going around.
We got a great gift, and this is the apple pie version of that.
The apple pie version of that.
To those of you, I know you're watching, and I greatly appreciate it. And I know my man here does too.
Yep.
So, but we won't be drinking it this time because we want to make it through the show.
Right. Coherent.
So yes. Definitely. So, man, it's been a big week.
It has.
A lot of big things have happened.
This is our 28th.
This is our 28th weekly live episode.
Weekly live.
So we've had other episodes on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one's a very heartfelt one for me. So, hey guys, really fast. You will want to interact tonight, okay? You'll want to interact. So I want to hear parents. I want to hear people get on because we're going to be talking about something that we coin, enough is enough. There's a lot of enoughs going on, but this one is enough is enough. We've been talking about it. We've been experiencing it. I think we in the U.S. have had too many of these incidences happen.
Yeah,
so
I know.
We'll talk about that.
Actually, enough is enough, but at the same time, we left it really kind of vague because there's so many things, as you said, they could fit under that.
Enough is enough.
A moronic leader.
Yes.
Or leaders.
Right.
Or many leaders.
Many leaders. Maybe of the state. Of the country,
Congress, state Congress.
Enough is enough. Local.
There's some local ones.
Enough is enough.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you've heard the news, but I just got news yesterday that there is a local counselor that has a recall that's been filed on her and is now perfectly capable to be signed. So, Counselor Katie Dunsmer has actually had a recall filed on her. I'm not going to go too deep into details. But before I go deeper into that, I want to say all my opinions relating to this particular subject are my personal opinions.
My
personal opinions have nothing to do with my position as a city councilor.
That's right.
Nothing to do with representation of the city. It is my personal opinion, and I want to be very clear about that. Even though disclaimers at the beginning of the show.
But
because
Backwoods Brothers as well.
I want to be very clear. So, but yeah, I already signed it. I put as soon as that thing was slapped down in front of me, I signed it. And it has something to do with a personal thing. It is personal. It is personal because I'm a voter.
Right.
But I believe it's personally she's failed her duties hard.
But this is the right way to do it. This is the correct way to do it.
If you were, well, you are a citizen investigator.
If I was a citizen.
If you were a citizen
we got one or two black folks in here.
As a citizen investigator, you could file it. Anyone can file it.
Yes.
As they see fit.
Right.
And that's what happened. There was a citizen here, which will be talked about with Brandy's show tomorrow.
Yes.
Which, by the way, that is called Campfire Discussions with Brandy.
Brandy.
Every Thursday at 7 p.m.
I was looking at that today, and she got more likes than Backwoods Brothers. I'm like,
I know. What's up with that? Hey, you guys, come on now. You got to be liking it.
Is it because she's an awesome person?
She's just cuter than us.
That's right. She is cuter than you.
Cuter, yeah.
I'm just joking. Okay, I cracked myself up.
Anyways, she's gonna be talking more about that and getting into details of it. Yeah. But the gist of it is that it was filed as of yesterday. Then it's open to that person will be revealed tomorrow and who you can reach out to and the contact information.
Awesome.
I hear that they're making a Facebook page to put up all of the reasons why that they're doing the recall, and there'll be I guess video clips and things like that they mentioned when I was signing it.
Yeah. So this is unique to Estacada.
This is unique just to Estacada, but the purpose
registered to vote. You have to be registered to vote.
You have to be registered to vote in the city limits.
In the city limits.
Yep. But you always can support them, and like I said, there'll be more details on that. But I want to point out something really important here. Once the recall gets completed and all those things are done, and she's recalled, well, we're going to leave that to the see what happens down there. But I have a strong feeling from what I've been hearing that won't take very long to fill that thing up. So
wow.
The person telling me that they have people lining up to do it. She's just trying to get to everybody.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
Anyways, so that with that recall, this is the right way to do it. So if that's what we're always talk about, get out there and take action.
Take action.
Real action.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with the city leader, as a citizen, you don't have to wait for anybody. You can get out there yourself. You can file the paperwork. It's a little bit of a headache to figure it out, but it is doable. And so you can get out there as a citizen and you can file a recall by yourself, whoever you want. So, and then you join other people that believe behind you to get that person out of there and try to get someone else new in there that you think will do the job better.
We the people.
But that's how you can do it legally. Now, granted, I've heard about, what happened with the Kate Brown recall. Oh, they're just going to do this and they're going to do that. Sometimes it happens, but you know what you do? You get out and do it again. You keep fighting for it.
Yes.
You got to fight for what you love.
Squeaky wheel gets the most oil. The squeaky wheel gets the most oil. Keep doing it. I bet
you a recall right about now would go a lot easier than it did a year ago.
True.
Even 2 years ago.
Because there's more eyes on the
not just that.
process.
There's a lot more pissed off people.
A lot more pissed off people.
So, anyways, that's what's going on in the local piece here today.
Yeah. Big stuff. There's big stuff going on in our nation. And Joel, I wanted to focus today on mass shootings.
We say mask shootings?
Mass shootings.
Oh, okay.
MASS, not mask shootings, mass. I thought about mass shootings, and what makes them so bad is like airplanes. In airplane accidents or crashes, the reason why they get so much press time is because everyone typically dies in a plane crash. There are no water landings.
That's pessimistic.
I know, but it's the reality of it, and that's why they get the most press. Well, in mass shootings, they are what they are, mass. When people go out and decide that they want to create mass destruction, it's not just one or two, it's 4 or 5 or 6. So last week we had another one, but this case is unprecedented in many ways because the mothers and the mom and the dad are held on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter.
Which, by the way, we have a photo of them.
We have a photo of them. We can throw that right up there.
Yeah, so you can actually see who we're talking about.
Yes. But I think that the message is being sent that we have had enough. When I have to take my daughter to school and think whether she's going to come back in a body bag or in person, that is not paranoia. That's actually a possibility these days. And even more so possibly in Portland, which I'm going to talk about very soon. But here, if I have to...
Well, I'm saying, don't we have resource officers on the school grounds to help with that, keep them safe? And I mean, hasn't there been a good history of the resource officers actually stopping school shootings?
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, I put on Facebook, and we'll get to that in a second, but I put a question out on Facebook last night that is, what do you guys think about school resource officers? How do they impact our schools? And is there a need for resource officers? Evidently, Portland, some sectors of Portland don't think they are very useful at all. As a matter of fact, they think they're another tool of racism. So I want to point to that, but I think we have had enough. I'm reading some statistics in here, and I could read to you 10 different mass shootings since 1999. And it starts with that Columbine shooting, which 13 people were killed. And then in 2007, the Virginia Tech shooting, 33 dead. 2012, Sandy Hook Elementary shooting in Newtown, 27 dead.
The Columbine, wasn't that the one that was in Springfield?
No, that was
here in Oregon, right?
The Columbine was in Colorado.
Which one was here in Oregon?
Oh, I'm getting to that. That's very interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that.
That was mentioned recently.
Yeah, the Stoneman Douglas one. which happened in Florida, Parkland, Florida, 17. 2015, the Umpqua, I can't pronounce that, community college shooting near Roseburg, that's what you're talking about, was 10 people dead. 2018, the Santa Fe High School shooting, which left 10 people dead in Texas. The 2005 Red Lake shooting in Minnesota, 10 people dead. And these are not just school shootings, these are church shootings as well and things like that. 2012, a university in Oakland, California, 7 people dead. 2006, West Nickel Mines school shooting in Bart Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, 6 people dead. In 2008, Northern Illinois University, 6 people dead. This is enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned schools that's there by themselves.
Yes, just schools.
But there's also
and universities.
There's been some movie theaters. There's been some mall shootings and things like that.
Yes.
Well. So there's not just the schools. Mass shootings are definitely happening, but
But the thing about
focusing on schools in this one.
And you know why I'm focusing on schools? Because that's where we have our Gen Zs now going. That's where our millennials. That's where you don't think about a school shooting happening. Aren't we supposed to be going to learn? Not going to arm ourselves and wonder if our kid's going to come back the next day.
I would say we're putting our most precious and valuable, I don't say possessions, but something that's extremely precious and valuable to us. We're entrusting that to the school to keep them safe during the time that they're there.
Yeah,
we're putting our trust into them, and when they make choices that would make them unsafe. Like if they removed a resource officer, didn't have one in the first place, didn't respond properly to threats, that's where they're failing the trust of us and the parents and everybody else.
Well, and that's true. And more kids, more than ever now, are going through a lot of mental health issues. Mm-hmm. One, because they've been locked up for 2 years, but this has been going on well before then. So this is just it's become a norm. Yeah. And we should not settle for this as another school shooting.
Well, yeah, exactly. It shouldn't just be another one we get where we become callous to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become so callous that our governor is actually releasing the school shooter that happened down here by Springfield, the one you mentioned by Roseburg or something. That person killed 10 people.
And she's releasing?
Served half his sentence.
What was the sentence? Do you remember?
Oh, not even half his sentence. I think she might have. It's either 40 years of life. I forget what it was. It might have been life. I think it was life.
You think it would be after 10 people? I think it would be life. Or 10 lives, maybe.
Yeah, well, 10 could be 10 life sentences. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he served 15 years and she's letting him out. So, because he was a minor and he was tried as an adult.
This school shooter, which I will not name, the one in Michigan, is tried as an adult. And in some states, they're qualifying what he did as terrorism. About time.
Mm. Well, time. Well, exactly. Well, let me clarify.
Domestic terrorism.
I love people. I care about people. And I believe that Christ can save all.
I do.
But I believe that there's some acts so heinous that there ain't no way in hell you should ever be let out of jail. I don't care.
Right.
I
didn't bring up the death penalty. I bring up life in jail.
Yeah.
But our prisons, our prisons are so overcrowded.
I'm pro-death penalty. Don't get me wrong. I'm pro-death penalty.
Got you.
If you kill somebody, we should kill you back. Mm-hmm. But
that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah. But what do you guys think about that?
Well, yeah, definitely. And we have some comments about that question you asked. I'm going to read for you here in a minute. That came up on your post.
Okay.
But not even the current ones right now. I'll read those in a second. These are the ones on your post. I'm going to get to the comments from us in a second.
Yeah, comment on these guys. It's a big issue.
What I'm referring to is this person took 10 lives. That is 10 people that will never walk the earth again, that parents will never see grow up, that they'll never get married, never have kids, they'll never have any of that type of stuff because that person chose to take their lives. That person's life should theoretically end, whether it's life in prison or whether it's a death penalty. That's a choice that they made or that action that they took that needs to go forward. They should never be walking free.
Well, you know what he told that school shooter that you're talking about, that university shooter? Mm-hmm. He asked a girl if she was a Christian. Before he shot her, he goes, "You're about to meet your God."
Yeah.
That's cold and callous.
And like I said, that person, it's a sociopathic response. And you can't cure a sociopath, right?
Right.
You're in the field. So that's the thing is her letting him out, the minute that any one of those guys commit a crime, I think that governor needs to be held accountable to the same account that the person is that held on that crime. So if they go out and kill somebody, she should be charged with murder.
Well, so let's go back really fast. Do you remember
any representative or judge that agrees to it, to allow it to happen, they should be held accountable by the people on the account of murder.
I'm glad you said that. So I don't want to conflate two, but I'm going to conflate the two.
I'm setting up a transition.
No, this is a good transition because listen to this. So he gets a lot of press. This school shooter last week gets a lot of press. Where in the world did the guy, I'm not going to even call him a guy, where in the world did this thing who drove the red truck into a crowd of parade goers, where did he go in the news? Did he just disappear?
Yeah, by the way, I got the name for the person. I think it's Kip Kinkles was supposed to
be. Kip Kinkle,
but
that was him.
It was typed out in the message here, Kip Kunkel.
Kip Kunkel. That's okay. That works too. That works too. Kip Kunkel, that works. But no, where's this other guy? So, I love the way and I'm going to say this, I love the way the Democratic news puts the onus on not the driver, but the car. A red car plowed through people, and they called it an accident.
An accident?
Yeah,
the guy plowed through.
That's a hell of an accident.
The guy plowed through, killed 6 people now, and put like 40 more, or injured a total of 40 or something like that.
Yes. So, but that's another mass casualty event that needs to be getting that same type of press as this one. Well, and he's
firing squad or something.
But Joel, he's getting 5 life sentences. He is getting 6 because one passed away. So 6 life sentences he is getting, which is great. Even that's too few. I mean, but you can't serve 6 lives, can you? I mean, a cat could, but not you.
Do you know why they do multiple count lives? At least this is my take on it when I understand.
Yeah.
Every sentence you get at some point can be either appealed. It can be you have appeals you can run until they run out. You have the ability that if you go parole, if it's with parole, possibility parole.
Good behavior?
Well, I'm saying each life sentence. Like if you have 10 of them, for example, 10 life sentences.
10 life sentences.
With the possibility of parole, that means that each one of those sentences has to be considered to be paroled on. So if it's like, okay, well, we're going to parole you on these ones, but these ones here you're still serving, you're still be in jail. Now that's the way I understand it. Now I'm not a parole officer. I'm not in the parole field. We learned about it in school, but it's been a decade. So if somebody is understanding this or deals with that field and knows that's watching, please, if I'm wrong in that area, please correct me on it. I'd like to make sure that's accurate. Right. But that's the way if I recall, I remember from school. So
well, you mentioned earlier, and I'm glad you mentioned that to me. I believe, like you said, the punishment has to fit the crime. Mm-hmm. The crime was done where you took innocent lives, and so therefore there has to be a stiff penalty for that.
Exactly.
There has to be, and good behavior is not an excuse. I can behave good for a minute to get off of what I need to get off. I want to roll us back to something.
Now, we obviously there's video to see what he did and all that type of stuff.
You're talking about the school shooter or talking about the driver?
The driver. We're going to the driver. We're going to come back to the school shooter in a second. But I do want to say this and put this little quip in there.
Yeah.
I don't want people out there doing the same thing that they did towards Rittenhouse, where they took everything from the news made a specific agenda towards it, and then they assumed facts, information was all clustered together in some mass gaggle, insert word here.
Yeah.
Take the time, if you're watching our show, I implore you, please take the time, learn the details of what's going on before you either A, spread something, or 2, before you actually, give a factual based opinion on there. Learn the information and then let's make an opinion. Because in our country, there's something that's very, very, that's been forgotten heavily, and I want to make sure that is profoundly stated here from our show. Mm-hmm. Even if we have video of you doing it, technically we still have the presumption of
innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so now we saw the video, it's all been coming down, but please keep that in the back of your mind before you speak out on it. Now we're pulling facts that have been
and they should be heavily vetted and from different sources too.
Vetted. So and so that's what we're pulling facts from. But even then, we're putting a disclaimer. There was a lot of messed up and wrong facts about the Rittenhouse case, and that's made me more aware to make sure that we're trying to give out good, positive news. And the news media, they don't give two flying craps.
Right.
They'll put out whatever they want if it sells papers. We're here to give good media source. So yes, and don't even take our word for it. Even though we've done some due diligence to check on it. I know you do way more than even I do, and you in the done due diligence to pull the information and stuff out of there. But please don't take our word for it. Go get your own facts. That's if I could get something out of the show for everybody to learn, is that don't take no one's word for it. Do your own research.
My college professor used to say, "I'm not here to teach you what to think. I'm here to teach you how to think." And that is so true.
We don't teach anybody anything.
Not teach you what to think. So go out, do your homework, and vet everything you read, and vet everything, and use your common sense too. Don't leave your common sense at the door.
It's so common these days.
The Portland superintendent, and I got this from a reliable source as well as from some other reliable sources. I don't know what Thursday, but on a Thursday announced that the state's largest school district is going to discontinue the regular presence of school resource officers. He said, in quote, that the district which didn't pay for the police officers intends to increase spending on social workers, that's one, counselors, that's two, and culturally specific supports for students.
Hey, Tony.
My concern.
I'm giving you this so when they call you out to go to a mass shooting and take care of the shooter.
I'll give him a cupcake?
You give him a cupcake.
Give him a cupcake and tell him to sit down.
That's gonna be your best defense.
Yes, yes. You know, my best defense is a cupcake. No, the crazy thing is about this, and then listen to this. It says an announcement came one day after from the Portland City Commissioner, that's Joanne Hardesty, you know? Yeah. She reiterated a call that she made 3 weeks to defund the program of 1.6 million chunk of police bureau budgets. And Hardesty also said that she's the only black member of Portland City Council. Also said she would like to defund the city's violence reduction team and transit police. The school resource officer, Joel, program provides for 11 armed police officers to patrol the halls of the city's high schools, 9 of them in Portland public schools. Later in that day, Mayor Ted Wheeler said he also had decided to pull officers out of the city's schools. The city also will transfer $1 million to the police bureau that the police bureau used to support school resource programs to an undetermined community-driven program.
Yeah, you know what that goes to.
Undetermined.
You know, if there's 2 people for recalls, there you go, first of all. But I have never seen 2 people so, pardon my French, but fucking stupid in my life. The Portland has the highest crime rate it's had in history.
Yep.
It's determined one of the worst cities to live in the country.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good PR.
The crime rate has gone up over, like, I think 900% or something like that, or higher now these days. Gun violence has gone up even higher than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's skyrocketing, and they say, let's remove their violence reduction team. Yeah. No.
The violence reduction team.
How do they not see? How can they not see that the actions they're taking are making things worse? And then the people are crying out to them saying, "Hey, dumb fuckheads!"
Yes.
Pardon my French again. I'm sorry, but please stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
People of Portland, get this dumb retard. Pardon my French. I should take that back. Get this moron.
He didn't use French, but okay.
That's a word I shouldn't reach to, so I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize for that, for misuse of that word.
We're just gonna put a thing across.
Yeah, a censored thing.
Go for it. No, but keep going.
I do openly apologize for that.
But you have a good point.
That moron, get him out of office so you can take your city back. Do whatever it takes to get him out of there. That's within legal means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get him out of the office. Yeah. File that recall. Go around door to door if you have to. Get the recall done. If they say you need 20,000 signatures or whatever it is, go get yourself 50 or 60 or 100,000 so they can't say it wasn't there. And then put somebody with some brains in there.
The person that told me about this...
Joanne Hardesty.
Yeah, the person that told me about this is a well-known person in our that we know. Yeah. And he's in the thick of things. And there are a lot of dedicated resource officers. I used to think this, Joel. I used to think resource officers were a demotion. You know, they couldn't handle the street, so they went to school. Well, no, they have a huge job, and a lot of officers would love to do resource officer work.
You know, it takes years sometimes for these resource officers to actually get that relationship with those kids. Years. And our own school and county, which I think was a stupid move, by the way. I think our new sheriff is great, and she's doing the best she can.
You met her.
Sheriff Brandenburg. I always get a name wrong, so I apologize, Sheriff.
Didn't mean to throw you under the bus there.
But though. I think it was a bad move for them, and I am really disappointed in our sheriff, and I'm disappointed in our school and the school education board. I'm disappointed in all of them that made a decision to take the resource officer has been there for years, that has a relationship with these kids, and pull them out, and all because of a vaccine issue. Because he didn't believe to get the vaccine. Instead of firing him, which I'm glad they didn't fire him, they moved him out away from people and put someone else in there because they chose to get the vaccine. I think it was a bad, irresponsible, and horrible move by the police department, by the sheriff's office. And again, I want to be very clear. This is my position as a personal opinion, not as a city official.
Well, can I say something as a personal? And this is a personal too. It is not a good move to rip anybody out of a student's life. Because they may be the only stability that student gets, as in the case of the school shooter.
It's a lack of understanding, I think is what it is on the police in the schools. The schools don't know their own students, and they don't have the understanding to do their own job, apparently. Because I'm not even in the school, and I understand that you don't make massive changes like that. And when it comes down to that trust, especially in law enforcement, when there are students that have that trust built up with a law enforcement officer, that builds a solid standing. But when you have to remove that and put somebody else in there, that trust is no longer there. How do you know that there's not going to be a student that would have came to that law enforcement officer to say, hey, my friends are doing X, or hey, I'm thinking about doing this, or I need your help on something. That's something at home. Maybe something's going on at home that they wouldn't go for anyone else. They would have gone to that law enforcement officer they trusted. Then now that's not going to happen because they're worried about a damn vaccine.
Brother, you raise a good point. What if that student who decided to shoot his 4 friends and others, 4 people and others, I don't know if they were his friends, but 4 people and others, what if he could have confided in a resource officer about the voices he said he was hearing in his head? You know, there's so many, and I'm going to go over the nuances of that later. But you're right. These resource officers build trust. You remember Officer Friendly? Did they ever come to your school?
I remember Officer Friendly. I also remember the dog.
Oh, did you okay.
Care.
I grew up in inner city Washington, D.C., where there was a mistrust of cops. And I see what happens here. But where there were a mistrust of cops. And I remember to this day, an Officer Friendly coming to my school. And I remember this. Whenever I hear something bad about a bad cop, because there's bad in every group, but when I hear about a bad cop, I think back to Officer Friendly. When I hear about this, I go back to Officer Friendly. So I see that we're coming up on a break. And
yes, but I know we're coming on a break. We're going to go a couple minutes over because I want to read some of these comments.
Yes.
We've missed them, and we've been talking back and forth, and I want to get through these real quick.
Y'all need to keep on. Yes.
They are. They're sending them, and we're not getting to them. So I'm going to get to them right now. First one was, are they letting, I did mention that, Kim Kinkle out. That was a comment. Too many are being released in Oregon, and we need to make mental health a priority. If we cared for mental health, this wouldn't be so rampant. It's true.
Yes.
The mental health isn't thought about, but at the same time, there's mental health can't be everything. It has to be a portion of it.
It has to be a portion.
And the thought process, but it can't be everything. You still have to have that authority and that protection piece.
I'm glad we're focusing on mental health, not just because it's my profession. No, I'm glad we're focusing on that. But I am not going to be able to take down a shooter. I'm not trained in that work. Neither are our teachers.
Exactly. So, and they shouldn't be.
And we shouldn't be.
Yeah, here's some more. What about the shooting a little while ago with the bully situation? The guy shot a teacher and it grazed another one. No one died, thank God, but he got aggravated assault? ? You need to give me more details about that, please. If you have the specifics, I'd like to know what to.
I'm glad you're entering.
I remember some of the details of that, but I don't have the specifics. I'd like to get some more specifics on it.
Yeah.
What is that about? I agree about mental health. We need our SROs. Look what happens when they remove police or SRO. And we talked a little bit about that. Yes,
we have some comments about that on my Facebook page.
Yep. I have a family member that was only killed by I have a family that was only killed by a school shooter. That might have been a typo. I'm very sorry to hear that. Any family member lost like that is never a good thing.
And our heart. This is. They wrote. They had a family member.
Yeah, that's what I.
Our hearts go out to you, definitely, and thank you for sharing that. It has to be painful. I can't imagine Christmas being the way it is for those other students that lost their lives last week. I can't imagine that.
Exactly. It's sad we have to worry about this stuff now. That's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of theories on why we have to worry about it, but yeah.
Yep, and our producer's telling me to read some of the comments.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know what? We have a few more. I'm going to get back to those, and we'll open up after the break with them. Okay.
Okay.
So awesome. Until then, we're going to go take a break, and we'll be back.
All right.
You're closing us out. Sorry.
That's okay.
I steal the show.
We'll see you back.
Most people like Christmas a bunch. And truth is, so did Herbert Grunch. He liked the food, the games, the smells, the way children played with their toys.
Hey guys, we are back from break.
Oh
yeah. We.
Absolutely.
The next one is this is an important one, I think. Well, they're all important. Don't get me wrong. This one here is I think is I like this comment. I did the resource job for a 2-week period while the regular guy was off duty, and it was enlightening to me and the students. They got to see that a police officer walks and talks and is a regular human being with a kind of side. And also a side that will make you accountable, even as a juvenile. And the teachers loved having us there when situations got out of hand. Even counselors would talk to me. It was great. I handled some potentially threats quite easily. So yeah,
that's the need for resource officers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last comment on here before we roll to the ones you had on your response.
But see, the argument against resource officers in this day and age is that they could present another cultural barrier.
I want to take you're trying to say the word racist.
I'm trying to be different.
Yeah, I want
because it's so stupid.
I want to take that misuse of that word and slap it upside the head of the person that's using it. Because learn what the hell the word means.
Yes.
Racist is prejudice against somebody for the color of their skin.
But I have to say this. I sent you a video.
Anybody can be racist.
But can I say this? I sent you a video today, and it was basically it was on Fox and Friends.
Yep.
And this black lady got on, and she was talking about what I've always been talking about. There are more black conservatives than we give airtime to, because we from the ground up have been taught to respect authority. Nobody mess with mom, nobody mess with dad, because when you know what, if you got in trouble at school,
you got the shoe.
True. When you got in trouble at school, not only did the teacher spank you, but they brought you to the mom, and mom goes, I'll deal with you. And they brought you to one time I decided to act up one day, and mom took me to the police station. That's what she took me. So if I had a reason to be scared of police, that would be it. But no, we as a whole, and as a entity, a racial group, whatever you want to call, we already know what authority looks like and how to respect authority. But somehow along the lines, we forgot that.
Oh, exactly.
And so I have no choice but to respect authority. I want my daughter to respect me.
Exactly.
And I'm her authority figure.
And that's the thing is the government always screws up everything when they get involved. I haven't seen them successful on anything.
Yeah.
And so the more they get involved, and they got involved in the household way too much.
Yeah.
And while I understand there's a point in which you protect kids from abuse, but at the same time they went so far in the wrong direction that they took the ability for parents to discipline their kids.
Yep.
And as that progressed into the wrong direction, kids became basically rebels, and they kind of did what they want to do, and the parents have no solid position to do it. And that's why it's so important that the parents take the authority to do it in the beginning and teach them that respect from when they're young, and teach them to basically follow certain rules from when they're young and hold them accountable to that as they get older. Now, am I a perfect parent? By far.
No. But you are a parent, and that's the thing. If you take the authority out of the authority that was placed by God in the home, then you get kids that go and do acts of crime
or violence.
And I'm not saying go ahead. You're going to say what I'm going to say.
I'm not going to say every kid that comes
not
down.
Every kid. No.
Yeah, no.
And not every parent is a good parent.
And you can get kids that came up in a perfectly good home that make bad choices.
That's very true. So that goes back to should the parents be held liable? That's a whole nother topic.
Honestly,
and I know
that is such a dynamic situation to look at. So
there's a number of things that led to that I was going to talk about. But go ahead and you do your thing.
Let me throw a couple more comments in here quick.
Do you?
This one here is actually from a viewer, and this actually rolls back real quick to the recall thing. I want to make a quick note on that.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on the local situation and local recall. If you are a liberal, then run as a liberal. Don't try to disguise yourself as a conservative to get votes and then flip-flop your agenda. It should be an ethical violation, and it makes your credibility zero. So there's that.
They're talking about me.
Wait.
Somebody ran my mail. No, I'm just joking. That's not me. That's not me, folks.
When did you run for office?
No, not going to. It's all. Yeah, that's not. I'm not going to.
So
there's no way.
Okay. But quick note, by the way, it says Facebook feed has been cut. Still streaming on YouTube and recording locally. So we'll have to figure out what happened there.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't say anything wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Facebook does these things randomly, and sometimes I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes. Zuckerman. Okay.
Yep. So let's see. I lost my comments, but hold on, I'm still trying to pull them back up again.
Okay. Well,
when you click the wrong button. But I know that those comments are on your Facebook, so I'm gonna go read those real quick.
Okay.
And the question you asked was.
The question I asked was, is there a need, or do you feel like there is a need, or still a need for resource officers in our public schools?
Yes.
And these were some of the answers.
Actually, one of the comments we read, they basically took from your comments and rewrote.
Cut and paste.
Yeah. So or close to it. But the second one here, it says, because there was an SRO, it was possible for my child to attend. SRO is aware of people on a watch list who may be threatening to the kids. Also, SRO gives students a positive interaction with police, and they learn to trust.
Yep.
Another person said, they are very beneficial. When my daughter was bullied, stalked, threatened, and accosted by even an adult when in the middle of school, the SRO helped to keep her safe and also helped to report the events and get it on the individual's record.
Before they escalate.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This other person says, I teach in a rough area. Many of our kids have negative interactions with police in their house, with older siblings, parents, etc. It lets them see police in a good light. Our SRO is really great about checking security on campus and making sure all doors, gates are staying locked. He also sometimes steps in to help the behavioral intervention team if more hands are needed.
That's great.
So those are just some of the comments that you had on your question there.
That's great.
So,
but often when you have to uphold the law, you're going to upset some people.
Yeah, the person that you're probably arresting or whatever you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
If you're breaking the law, you're not really happy about the person that's upholding the law.
That's true. That's true. Well, going back to this case, there was a timeline that I picked up of the things that led up to the shooting. And again, I'm going to just say his last name, Crombley. Not going to say his first name. Brought a gun that authorities believe was used by the shooter. And around the same day, the alleged shooter posted a photo of the handgun on Instagram on his account with the caption, "Just got my new beauty today." And it was the 9mm with the heart emojis. Now, it will take me forever to dissect this whole thing, but I was thinking about this, Joel. I live in Alaska, I lived in Alaska, and there's shooting for all types of purposes, for subsistence. And believe me, when I say this, y'all, I'm not saying anything besides living in Alaska. You see kids who tend to look up ammo, which this kid did online, and things like that, because you're hunting, and they sometimes do it at inappropriate times. As a school teacher, I saw that too as well. It wasn't cause necessarily for alarm, because that's what they did in those specific places. Mm-hmm. So already in looking at that scenario, not comparing it to this one, but looking at that as a whole, yeah, that would be some cause for concern, but yet I would have to weigh that out, knowing that I lived in a place where shooting and subsistence work and all those types of things were a thing, right?
Exactly.
So that was one of the things that happened, was he posted those things. The mom actually, the teacher saw that he was posting them and told him to put that away. That's inappropriate. But she also, the next day, ended up getting after him about a picture that he drew. And the picture was quite graphic. Above the picture, it said, "I can't make the voices stop," or "make the voices stop." There was a figure with 2 bullet wounds and blood and a laughing emoji again. So this kid really was infatuated with laughing emojis. And after taking a picture, an alarm teacher took a picture of that. I would have done the same thing, because now the "make the voices stop" would indicate to me that there's something going on psychosis-wise in his head. Mm-hmm. So this is what happened. I took a picture. So when she either got it to the office somehow, maybe texted somebody, they got it to the office called the parents. They called the student with his book bag to go up to the office. This is where the exchange took place, where the school expressed very, very big concern for this student and asked this student, or asked the parents to get him counseling within an amount of time. I think it was 48 hours or 48 hours.
Give him some help,
give him some help. Now, the problematic thing with that is mental health is so backed up right now that's kind of a slim window, but I would have said the same thing because this was clearly a concern.
Well, they had the ability, obviously, if they needed to go as far, check him into a hospital for evaluation.
Right, and you bring up a good point. Mm-hmm. But the parents saw no need, or not a need, to be concerned about that and refused to take him home.
Yeah, so exactly. There's enough that I would consider common sense signs there that something should have happened. The school asked them to take them home, did they? Basically, they wanted to send him home.
Yes, but the day before, now when he was caught with the ammunition post, the parents were contacted as well. And allegedly, the parent texted her student, or her kid, and said, the only thing I wouldn't have done is got caught doing it. So, and kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of a way. So she took the actions of her kid lightly for both accounts.
Yes. But that's the thing is, the parents, we're not there to be a friend. We're not there to take all the actions just without a whim. I mean, yes, some of you do, of course. I'm not saying you take everything seriously, but we're there to also understand our child enough to make a rational, solid decision on the behavior of a child. And and the big thing, like I said, it is, it's our job to make the hard decisions, whether it's going to piss off the kid or not.
It is. Well, the day before, but then this was also a Christmas present, an early Christmas present that his dad took him to get. Mom took him out to sight it in or go shooting with him. So there was some dialogue between parent and kid about the excitement of having this gun. Mm-hmm. One has to question, did they know that this was going to happen? If they're excited about it and they're posting about it, I don't know if they knew.
I mean, with everything else,
I don't know. I'm not judge and jury, but
here's the thing: is they were made aware.
They were made aware,
and I don't know. Even if no matter how much I knew my kid joked and things like that, if she was in school drawing a picture saying I can't make the voices stop of someone being shot to death,
red flag,
and on top of that, we just bought a weapon.
Yeah,
I would at least go home and lock that damn weapon up, a minimal.
Well, the parents are being held for ignoring those red flag warnings.
Honestly,
then when he left, though, listen to this, though, J-Man. When he left, or when the parents left, they sent him back to class. Now, the school, I think, answered for why they did that, and I had those in my notes, but I don't want to look for it right now because we're in discussion. Mm-hmm. But read it yourself. They have reasons for why they did that. The school counselor allegedly released him to go back to class, which left him to carry out the act, coming out of the bathroom, dropping off what he needed to in the bathroom to come out with the gun and start his massacre. So, is there a red flag with the counselor? Should the school be held liable as well with the parents? And then the parents, knowing that this was going to happen, most likely, or maybe, ran to 40 miles to Detroit to hide out. And the reason why they said they hid out was because they were receiving death threats. Now, I have to look at that too. I like to look at things objectively.
Yeah.
So if they ran and they were really trying to run, would they go 40 miles in Detroit, or would they run across the border? And we have two of them.
No, I don't think either one of those is a good excuse. Honestly.
I'm not saying excuse, but
what I would do is I would go to, if they're getting death threats, go to the police.
What you think?
You would say, hey, hello, police department. Hey, I know who we are, and you know who we are. Well, we're getting some serious death threats. I'm really scared for my life. Can you please have an officer come over? Can we come to the police station? Can you do something to help take care of us?
Both of them pleaded not guilty, which is a commonality. I think, pleading not guilty. But Mom was crying. Dad's affect was a little bit different. And some news articles said he was chuckling at one time. I don't remember seeing that, but they did say that there was a stark contrast.
Honestly, in my opinion, if they're anything other than devastated, then because their kid just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, then there's something messed up there. So
there's a disconnect.
Honestly, the facts, of course, like I said, they're developing. We don't have them all fully. They're going to come out. Things will change, and I want to make sure that we keep that in mind.
Right.
But based upon the information we have at this time, and solely based upon the information that we have at this time, if the facts stand as they are, I would say yes, the parents need to be charged for negligence. They should be accountable for not securing that weapon, knowing that their child has some mental issues right now going on. In the school, also, if they'd already had a issue prior before showing that he has access to a weapon, and the second, and he made a drawing of potential shooting happening, they should have forthright exited him out of that school. Whether it's suspension, expulsion, more likely it's suspension, or at least send him home for the day and said, parents, you don't have a choice. We had the option to send him home, and we're sending him home, and he's not going to be here. And you best take him with you because it's your responsibility, and you don't get the call. Yeah. You get the call what happens in your home, we get the call what happens in our school.
Yeah, as a parent,
to a degree. I want to be very clear. To a degree.
To a degree.
You're not going to say, "Oh, your kid's in my school. I'm going to give him a shot or something."
Do we need metal detectors at schools? Have we gotten to that point where we need to send kids through checkpoints?
Because of lack of a few things, lack of cultural accountability, lack of political leadership, and I think lack of accountability in the home. I think we have gotten to that point.
Why don't we see more metal detectors at school? In some inner city schools, there are already metal detectors there.
Yeah, one, I think it has to do with it used to have to do with what's the actual threat in your area. Two, I think it has to do with budget, and three.
Do we have our head in the sand just because of the area? I mean, these things didn't show up in the Bronx.
I don't want to see them in school. I don't want to see them in school. I don't want to know the fact that we're actually to that point, but I think are they getting to that point where we need to have them? Yes, I think as a society, as parents, as voters, as leaders, we have failed not only our own children, but ourselves and the people around us so hard that it has come down to this. We have an opportunity to turn this around and make a change.
How,
Joe? That does not start in the upper leadership.
Come on.
It does not happen from the government. It starts right in your own home.
Yes.
It starts making that choices to hold your kids accountable, to hold yourself accountable.
But we have kids from broken homes. We have adults now who...
Either way, it still comes down to it. But the minute that God left the center of our society is where we started breaking down. You can almost see that as a turning point.
Even if it was for morality's sake.
But even then, even if we remove the discussion about Christ in the home, because that's where they should be. Right. But it's just the central fact of accountability and morality and holding accountable to your kid and yourself in your own home. The examples we set, the choices that we make, and how we teach our kids. Kids have become more of
desensitized.
It's become. For so many people that it's, hey, I want to make my child my friend. It's more important than their approval status than it is to do the hard choices as parents. Taking away spankings or groundings or basically saying no when they need to say no. But on the flip side, rewarding them when they do the right things.
What about teaching kids how to manage their emotions?
That's our responsibility as parents.
Yeah. I mean...
It's not laying it off to someone else. I mean, and I get it.
Kids don't naturally come out of the womb saying, "I'm going to create murder or mass casualty."
Exactly. It's something that's a learned or a broken piece of society. But like I said, we can't put that on anyone else to fix our problem.
No,
we have to start fixing it in our own home. We have to start making the right choices in our own home, and then teach our kids the right things, and then from there we raise them up to be good, solid, responsible people who then can also make the same decisions, and then eventually that fixes our society.
My daughter was bullied at school, and I sat down and talked with her and said, because she has this strong sense of justice and standing up for other people, but yet I talked to her and said, you still have teachers, you still have authorities around you that you can, instead of taking it into your own hands, go talk to them. You don't have to fight everybody's battle because, believe me, 10 more will come back at you. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to build and build and build.
Exactly.
So it starts, like you said, at the home. Mm-hmm. It starts in the home.
We're too much of a blame shifting and shifting responsibility and not taking it for ourselves or our own responsibility when we need to take it. And honestly, that is so much of a bigger question. But
Can I just tie something in there?
Yeah, but then we're out of time, so we have
Okay, that goes back into our discussion last week about the church as well.
Exactly. The church needs to be the center part of your home. And what's it come down to? It's not religion, it's relationship.
We don't defer to the governmental. I mean, look, those things, as a church, we should be meeting the felt needs of people, the emotional needs of people, the financial needs. We should be that hub. It used to be that way.
Exactly. And
but now we defer, like you said.
The church body was a place you used to be able to go to, and you can have those needs met, and you can have that fellowship and that togetherness. And so much now around our area, it seems like it's just closed off. But the whole point, I'm going to come back down to this one so we don't get into that discussion again.
Yeah.
It's about the relationship.
It's about the relationship.
And with that relationship breeds, when it pours in your own relationship, and again, so it's your own accountability. So when you have that relationship and that accountability with Christ, it floods out into you, and it's present and ever present to those around you. And
use this case to have a discussion on what can we do about it. What is your responsibility with your families, like you said, Joel? And it does start from the ground up. It's a wraparound. Talk to your teachers. Get involved in school. Join the PTA. Do whatever you got to do to make your face known at that school.
Exactly.
So that those things, that kids develop that relationship in that safe place. Because
be selective of the influences your kids have in their lives.
And be selective about those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, tomorrow, I'm sure, I don't know everything Brandy's going to be talking about on Campfire Discussions, but they should join tomorrow to take a look at that, 7 p.m. right here at the same channel.
Yes.
Same channel, Brandy Show, same channel.
Brandy Show?
Every Thursday, 7 p.m. But I have a feeling she's going to be talking a little more about some of the local issues. It's actually, I have a feeling she might pick up on this. I don't know. I don't want to speak to what her discussions are because she hasn't let me in on that yet. But
I did tell her this. If her show gains more popularity, I'm becoming a Backwoods wife. Okay. Just joking.
Okay. Well,
I'm a man.
We're at the end of our show. Thanks so much for everybody for joining us.
Yes.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Check out our merchandise.
Yes.
Check out Brandy's show tomorrow.
Woo-hoo.
And we will see you on the next episode next week.
Shout out.